Special thanks to Patreon supporter Derek Frost Westbrook for making this video possible. Hello ladies and gentlemen, ZPro here bringing you another Minecraft World War II BAFTA build tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be going ahead and building the KMS Köln. The KMS Köln was part of the Königsberg class of cruisers. The Königsberg class, sometimes referred to as the Cayde class, was a class of light cruisers of the German Reichsmarine and Kriegsmarine. The class comprised 3 ships named after German cities, Königsberg, Karlsruhe, and Cologne, all built between 1926 and 1930. These ships were the first of the Reichsmarine with a modern cruiser design. Their predecessor, Emden, was based on World War I era designs. They were armed with a main battery of 9 15cm or 5.9-inch guns and with 12 50cm or 20-inch torpedo tubes. All 3 ships of the class were used extensively as training cruisers throughout the 1930s. They went on numerous overseas cruises and participated in the non-intervention patrols during the Spanish Civil War in 1936 through 1939. After the outbreak of World War II in September 1939, the 3 ships laid defensive mines in the North Sea. They also saw action in Operation Rosersprung and the invasion of Norway in April 1940. Königsberg was damaged by Norwegian coastal guns outside Bergen and sunk by British bombers the following day. Karlsruhe was sunk by British submarine HMS Tarrant, and only Cologne survived the attack on Norway. After returning to Germany, Cologne operated Flettner FL-2A2 helicopters as an experiment. She provided gunfire support to German ground forces during Operation Barbarossa and the invasion of the Soviet Union in 1941, and returned to Norway in 1942. Ultimately, she was sunk in Wilhelmshaven in March 1945 by American bombers. Her guns were still above water, which allowed her to support the defending German army against British ground forces until the final days of the war. So yeah, the Cologne here, very interesting history of the ship. Obviously, seen some pretty good wide service, seen some service over in the Soviet Union, and also seen service over in Norway. I think the coolest fact about it is that the fact that it was sunk, but it was still above water enough to where they actually were able to use the guns. That's kind of crazy to think of, and it was continued to be used until the end of the war. So basically, it just became a grounded fortress in the middle of the ocean. So pretty cool stuff. Fun little cruiser here. We've done some pretty good little German ships as of recently, some cruisers, and I feel like it's an awesome addition to kind of help, fortify our German cruiser lineup, and what better than another light cruiser. Before we go and jump in and take a look at the build, I do want to go and give special thanks to Patreon supporter Derek Frost Westbrook for making this tutorial possible. If you guys are interested in supporting the channel where you already do, feel free to check out my Patreon page. Link is always in my video descriptions, where you can go and pledge a small amount to the channel every month, and in doing so, earn a vehicle request you're choosing. It really helps support the work I do on my channel. It is really greatly appreciated, so definitely feel free to check that out. Again, links are always in my video descriptions. With that though, let's go and dive into taking a look here at the ship. So this ship here was succeeded by the Leipzig class, which we did a tutorial on, I believe, last month. So if you are looking for another light cruiser, we have basically the more modernized cruiser that kind of followed up after this one. But kind of going ahead and diving into it, we have obviously the front here. We have basically 3 triple mount gun batteries, so 1 in the front and 2 in the back. And we have the bridge here, conning tower, all that stuff, all the instruments, all that stuff, lifeboats here, the mast, all that typical stuff. As we work way back, we have our first set of torpedo tubes represented by this light gray bed. We have the catapult here for the seaplane, as well as cranes on the back here. So we have our 2 cranes. Again, another set of torpedo launchers located in this section here. Some secondary batteries as well located on the aft section here. And as we approach the back, we have our last 3 turrets here mounted on the rear. Weird thing about these turrets is that they're actually offset, so the bottom turret here is a little bit to the left and the top turret a little bit to the right. Unfortunately, just due to the scale, we're not really able to replicate that perfectly, so I decided to go ahead and just have them centered, as I felt it looked better in the long run, rather than trying to do some weird trickery putting them off to the sides and stuff like that. So I think this was kind of the best way to do that, and to keep the turrets looking relatively good. So that's what we went ahead and did with. That's one thing we had to kind of settle on for this build. But overall, I think this build came out really nice. Will make an awesome addition to any of your World War II BAFTA build fleets when you're trying to incorporate some Germans. We've had some really cool German ships come out recently, such as basically some heavy cruisers and some light cruisers and stuff like that. So we're definitely starting to get a cool little BAFTA build fleet built up for the Kriegsmarine. But anyways, that right there is going to do it for this overview. Let's go ahead and move into the tutorial by beginning with our first layer. Alright guys, so going ahead and moving into our first layer here, we're going ahead and beginning with layer 1. Now a few things I do want to mention before we go ahead and jump in this layer is if you're completely new to my BAFTA build tutorials, the way I like to structure the first few layers here is I like to do half on camera, half off, since the whole is pretty straightforward and basically everything we do on one side will be the same on the other. I feel like this is a good way just to kind of go ahead and speed through these first few layers. And no point in covering the same thing twice. Once we get into the superstructure and some of the detailed bits and all that stuff, we'll start to do basically both layers all together because the detail does get pretty intricate and can be a little confusing at times. So I feel it's best to go over those layers all together. So probably for the first few layers here, we'll be doing half on, half off. Anyways, with that all covered, I do want to go ahead and also mention that you do want to build this correctly in the water. Now I imagine a lot of you guys are going to want to build this in the water, and if that's the case, you want to make sure that this is built correctly. To go ahead and build this correctly, you want to make sure that your blocks here for layer 1 are set at this level. The blue concrete here representing our water level, and the red concrete obviously is part of our hole, which will be building up in this layer. Very important to make sure that you start at this level. If it's one below, one above, it's not going to sit properly and it's going to look super weird. So just make sure that that is correct and we'll be good to go. To go ahead and get started with though, we're going to place down 2 brick walls, and we're going to go then place down a row of red concrete that's going to go back, and this row is going to be a total of 29 blocks back, followed by 3 brick top slabs and 3 acacia wood trapdoors. Once we have that done, we're going to go and start moving to our sides. We're going to place down 2 red stained glass panes coming off the 3rd and 4th red concrete blocks from the front, as well as 1, 2, 3 brick walls back, and then a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 red concrete blocks back, a brick upside down stair, a second upside down stair, and a brick top slab. We then want to place down an end rod, followed by an acacia wood fence gate, then a birch wood slab, and then our brick walls. So just like that, going back on both sides there. And looking at it from the top down view, this is what you should have with that layer complete. That is going to conclude layer 1. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving into our next layer, layer number 2. Alright guys, so going ahead and moving into our next layer, we moved into layer 2. For layer 2 to begin with, we're going to place down an andesite wall on top of this brick wall. And we're going to go then place down a light gray stained glass pane coming off this wall going forward. We're going to then go back from this andesite wall 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 stone blocks back. After we have that done, we're going to then take our spruce wood planks. We're going to place down a row of spruce wood planks going down the center here. And it's going to be 26 spruce wood planks in total, ending on top of that brick top slab there from the previous layer. We're going to go ahead and place down 3 stone blocks back, and that right there is going to make the center line. Moving out to the sides here, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3 light gray stained glass panes coming off the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th stone blocks from the front, followed by 3 andesite walls, and then a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26 stone blocks back, and 3 light gray stained glass panes. Once we have that all complete, we want to go and then grab ourselves polished black stone buttons, and along all these stone blocks here on the side, from the midship going to the stern, we're going to go ahead and place down polished black stone buttons. So it's going to go all the way along the side here of the ship, just like that, for portholes. Now one thing you can also do if you're on Java Edition and you have access to a debug stick is we can go ahead and use this cool technique in which we'll go ahead and use our give command, so /give @p, and we're going to go and type in debug, and it should automatically come up with that. We'll just press tab and it should fill it in for us. Now using the debug stick, we can go ahead and place down blocks of whatever blocks, it doesn't really matter. For me, I just have stone here. We're going to skip a space of 1 between our walls. We're going to place down our our polished black stone buttons here. We're going to go and then select the button, and we want to go and change the facing so that it faces like this and it's coming off of those walls. So you'll basically just place those down on the side there, like so. And they basically connect up, and that's pretty much all you really want to do for that. It's a nice little feature there if you're on Java. It's not a huge deal if you can't do it on Pocket Edition or Bedrock. It's not a huge detail portion, but it just kind of helps bring those portholes all the way forward like they actually are on the ship. So pretty cool stuff. And with that, let's go ahead and move on to our next layer, layer number 3. Alright guys, moving into our next layer, we have layer 3. Layer 3 is going to be the first layer we go ahead and start doing everything all together. As this layer we start to get into the complexities of what will be the superstructure. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we want to do is we're going to go ahead and place down an andesite wall on the front here, followed by a stone block behind it, and then a second and third stone block back. So you have 3 stone blocks back. Up here on the left side, we're going to place down 2 item frames, and we're going to go ahead and place down crossbows in those item frames, rotated so they're facing downwards. And over here on the right side, we're only going to place down 1 item frame on the side of this wall, and a crossbow rotated so it's facing downwards like so. So just pay close attention there to the difference there on both sides. 2 on the left side, and then you're going to have 1 on the right side. We then want to place down a row of 1 and 2, like gray stainless panes back, 1 and 2 off these second and third stone blocks. At this point here, we're going to go ahead and place down a row of 1, 2, 3 spruce wood planks, and then we're going to go to the sides, 1, 2, 3, and 4 inside walls, and 1, 2, 3, and 4 inside walls. You may notice that your buttons may break here, and if that's the case, then we'll leave those be for right now. We'll come back to those a little bit later in the tutorial, but if they do break, we'll easily be able to put those back on a little bit later. Going down the center here, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 6 stone blocks, so just like that, back from the spruce wood, and then a stone stair. Going to the sides, we're going to place down 2 stone blocks, and then a stone stair, 2 stone blocks, and a stone stair. On the side of these 2 stone blocks here, we're going to place down 2 polished black stone buttons, and we're going to then place down a dark oak wood sign coming off the side here of this stair like that. After we have that done, we want to go ahead and then place down a end rod on both sides like so, and we're going to then follow this up by placing down a light gray bed like that for our torpedo tubes. We then want to place down a spruce wood pressure plate to both sides like so, and then we're going to go and then place down a iron trap door coming off the stair like so. We then want to take our stone blocks, we're going to place down a row of 3 across, followed by a second row of 3, a third row, a fourth row, a fifth row, and a 6th row, and 7th row across. Along the sides here of those rows of 3, we're going to place down polished black stone buttons like so. Same thing over here. We then want to go ahead and place down a andesite wall in the center here. We're going to go ahead and place down a light gray bed to the sides there. And we then want to go ahead and place down a stone block located right here, followed by a light gray stained glass pane to both sides of that stone block, another stone block back, and then a stone upside down stair to the sides here. Coming off the front there of the stairs, we're going to place down a dark oak wood sign to both sides. Then we're going to place down another stone block in the center, followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 stone blocks back. We're going to go and grab light gray stained glass panes and place down a row of 5 of light gray stained glass panes, and same thing over here, a row of 5 as well. We then want to place down a spruce wood pressure plate to both sides right here. And then at this point, we want to go and grab some stone brick here, and we're going to go and place down a stone brick upside down stair, like so, and then a stone stair coming off that. And then to the sides of the stone stairs, we're going to place down skeleton skulls to both sides, and then end rods coming off those skeleton skulls like so. If you're on Java, we can go and also place down item frames underneath the end rods and the skeleton skulls, and in those item frames, we'll just go ahead and place down some brown stained glass like so, to kind of go ahead and keep a little bit more of a brown color to the deck. After that though, we're going to go then place down a row of 2 of spruce wood planks, pressure plates, followed by a dark oak wood fence gate, which will be opened up toward the back, and on top of it, we're going to go ahead and just very simply place down an end rod. We can also go ahead and again do the same technique with our item frames. Again, if you're on Java, we can place down an item frame underneath that fence gate, and we'll place down a brown stained glass pane in the item frame like so. With that all complete though, that right there is going to basically wrap up what we have there for layer number 3. Taking a look at it from above, this is what we should have for the top-down view. And with that, that'll conclude layer 3, and let's go ahead and move on to layer number 4. Alright guys, moving into our next layer, we have layer 4. For layer 4 to get started with here, we're going to place down a dark oak wood fence gate on top of this andesite wall, and we're going to go ahead and open this up toward the front, and then place down an end rod on top of it like so. After we have that done, we're going to go ahead and place down 2 redstone dust pieces back like so, and then a redstone comparator like that, or a redstone repeater, sorry, on the end here like that for our anchor. We then want to place down a stone brick stair, skip a space back from the redstone repeater, stone brick stair, and an upside down stair behind it. Our skeleton skulls here to the sides, and then our end rods coming off the skeleton skulls and stone brick stair toward the front. We're going to go then place down a stone block here, followed by a second and third block back. We're going to go and then continue this on by placing down a spruce pressure plate to both sides right there. Also a lever for an anti-aircraft gun right there. And then another end rod located right there to both sides. We then want to place down a andesite wall, which will be coming off this stone block like so. And we're going to then place down a stone stair here, and then a stone full block. Now after we have that done, we're going to go and place down a white bed on top of this stone stair to both sides. If you for some reason can't place the white bed, you can use quartz slabs instead. And we then want to go and take skeleton skulls, and we're going to place down a skeleton skull on the side of this stone block here to both sides, as well as a brown carpet on top of this stone stair here, and a skeleton skull coming off the side there of those, or of that brown carpet just like that. And once we have that all done, we're going to continue on by grabbing ourselves a spruce pressure plate. We're going to place down one here and one back as well, followed by a redstone comparator on both sides like that. We're going to go then place down another stone block here in the center, followed by a second, third, fourth, and yeah, it's just going to be 4 back, and then a stone stair after that row, so like that. Then to the sides here, we want to go and place down a white bed here on both sides, followed by a spruce wood pressure plate behind those beds. And then right here we do have a difference on both sides, so just make sure you pay close attention to what we're doing on both sides. So on the left side here, we're going to place down a stone brick wall and then a stone brick upside down stair. Over on the right side, it's going to be a stone brick wall right here and then a skeleton skull. So just make sure you pay close attention to the differences there, as we do have 2 different size cranes on the sides. We're going to go then place down a skeleton skull in that spot right there, followed by a spruce wood pressure plate to both sides. We're going to go then place down a spruce wood pressure plate on top of this wall here. And we then want to go ahead and place down a iron trapdoor, actually. That's going to go in this space right here. So on the bottom there, and then a spruce wood trapdoor on top of that iron trapdoor. We then want to place down a stone block here, followed by a second and third stone block back. To the sides, we're going to be going ahead and placing down a stone brick stair on top of those stone upside down stairs with an end rod going forward from them. And also, again, if you're on Java, on top of those light gray stainless panes, we can go ahead and place down our item frames. And we can go ahead and then place down a brown stained glass pane in those item frames like that, again, if you're on Java. Continuing on, we're going to then place down a stone brick stair here, a end rod that goes back, same technique, item frame with our brown stained glass in it, and then a spruce pressure plate directly after that. For our turret number 2, we're going to place down a stone brick upside down stair, stone brick stair like this, and we want to go and then take our skeleton skulls and place them down the sides here of that, and then our end rods that are going to come off of it, like so. And with that all done right there, that is going to wrap up what we have there for layer number 4. Taking a look at it from the top-down view, this is what we should have so far. And, of course, side view there, what we have going on. At this point also, we can go ahead and expand upon our buttons here. So we can go ahead and basically do the same technique we were doing before with our polished blackstone buttons on the side of the ship. So we'll just go ahead and basically do our same thing. So selected facing, and we'll go ahead and rotate these so that they connect up to our walls, like so. And we'll also go ahead and do this bottom row as well. So just like this, and again, using our debug stick. Again, a Java only feature. If you, again, are on Bedrock or Pocket Edition, this feature isn't completely necessary. You don't have to do it. It's just a nice little addition you can put on the ship, and of course you're going to do the same thing over here. So I'm not going to go and show that because it's pretty self-explanatory. We just did it there. But yeah, just a feature that you can do on Java, kind of a cool one. Kind of helps add a little bit of that extra detail and stuff like that. But again, not a completely necessary detail. Anyways, let's continue on by moving into our next layer, layer number 5. Alright guys, moving into our next layer, we have layer 5. For layer 5 to get started with here, we're going to go ahead and place down a flower pot on top of these 2 skeleton skulls. Here for turret number 1. We're going to go then place down a stone brick slab here. Coming off that, we're going to place down an item frame, a black bed in the item frame, rotated so that the pillow is facing downwards, and then a dark oak wood sign on the side of the slab as well if you're on Java. If you're on Bedrock or Pocket Edition, you're not able to place down a sign and an item frame in the same block space. If that's the case, just go ahead and do the item frame. We're going to go then place down a stone brick slab to both sides of that, or sorry, a skeleton skull to both sides of that stone brick slab, as well as a stone block and another skeleton skull on both sides of that stone block. Right here in this section, we're going to place down 2 andesite walls. On our first wall here, we're going to place down an item frame to both sides, and we then want to go and place down a white bed in that item frame like that, rotate on side like so. After we have that done, we're going to go then place down a dark oak wood fence gate, which will be on top of this stair, like so, and that will be opened up toward the back there like so, and then a stone block. Now right here we do have some modded stuff we can do, or not really modded, but Java only features with basically our debug stick. And this here is going to be involving putting some levers over our beds to kind of help support the, you know, look at that. You basically have the supports there for the lifeboat there. And basically all this is, we're going to place down 2 blocks oriented like this, levers like this on the side here, and we're going to then take our debug stick, have them selected face to floor, and then we're just going to go ahead and rotate these so that they face each other. So like this on both sides. So that one will be on top of the bed, one will be on top of that end rod there, and we'll just do the same thing over here on this side. Again, this is a Java only feature, something that you don't completely need to do, but I think it just adds that extra bit of detail and just adds that little bit more realism to the build here with these basically systems that would basically be able to move the lifeboat and deploy it. And then in between them, we can place down a barrier block and a button like that for the wire rigging between them. So just a fun little design there for that. Anyways, after this point, we can go ahead and then continue on by going ahead and placing down a stone brick slab on top of this stone block here. 2 daylight detectors going forward, turn those to night mode, and then 1 daylight detector going back. And if you do want to build a seaplane for the start of it, we're going to go ahead and place down a dark oak fence gate to both sides of this stone brick slab. That's basically the seaplane we'll be building right there. So we're going to come back to that a little bit later. Continuing on, we're going to go ahead and also place down an item frame, which will be on top of this stone block here. So just like this, and then in the item frame, we're going to place down a white bed like that, rotate on its side. We're going to go ahead and place down a stone block here, and again, working on our cranes, we're going to place down a stone brick wall on the left side crane, followed by a dark oak fence gate that comes off of it. We're going to go ahead and then place down an item frame, coming off that fence gate, like so, to the side, and in that item frame, we want to go ahead and place down a snowball. So this will be a spotlight here on the side. You don't want to break your item frame with your snowball, you want to place it like so. We're going to then place down a stone brick upside down stair, and then going ahead and going forward from this, we're going to place down 1 and 2 blocks above here, and then a chain that comes down like that for right now. Then over here on the right side of the build, we want to go ahead and build this by placing down a stone brick wall on top of this one, followed by a dark oak fence gate coming off this wall and opened up toward it. And then coming off that fence gate, we want to go ahead and then place down a skeleton skull, and then we're going to have a chain that basically comes off the skeleton skull like that for this secondary crane. And also, in addition to that, we want to go ahead and place down an item frame here on the side of that fence gate. So same thing as the air side, and a snowball in it like so. With that all complete, going ahead and continuing on. On the back here, we're going to go ahead and place down a redstone repeater, which will be positioned like so. And then we're going to then place down a stone brick wall. You can go ahead and also place down a stone brick full block right here if you're on Pocket Edition or Bedrock, but a stone brick wall right here is the best shaped one, and we're going to place down a block here to the sides. And again, using some of our techniques here with the debug stick, we're going to place down our tripwire hooks like so, and we're going to go and change the facing here so that it connects up to the stone brick wall. So just like that. And again, you can use a stone brick full block there as well if you want to have something for that to connect to. We're going to go ahead and place down a stone stair behind this like so, and then coming off the stone stair, we're going to go ahead and place down a skeleton skull, as well as the skeleton skull out to the sides there of that skull like so. And then lastly on the back here, we're just going to place down 2 flower plots on top of those 2 skeleton skulls for turret number 2. With that all done right there, that is going to conclude layer number 5 for the build. And with that, we'll probably be moving into our final layers here, basically completing all of our masts and all that stuff. So with that, let's go ahead and move into our last final layers. Alright guys, moving into our next layer, we have layers 6 through 11. For these layers to go ahead and get started with, we're going to place down a skeleton skull on top of this stone block, followed by a end rod to both sides. We then want to go ahead and place down a stone brick slab after that, so right there on top of that block, and then we're going to place down an iron trap door, which will be coming off the sides here of that stone brick slab, so like so. Behind that, we're going to go ahead and place down a stone stair, which we'll grab from right here, and we're going to place down a just a normal stone stair on top of that andesite wall. After that, we're going to go ahead and then place down 2 andesite walls up from it, so 1 and 2. Up like that, and then a stone brick slab there on the very top. We then want to go ahead and grab our iron trap doors. We're going to place down an iron trap door coming off this first wall here, and then the second wall on top of it, followed by an item frame, and in that item frame we're going to place down a snowball for the spotlight. And then to the sides here, we're just going to go ahead and very simply place down a end rod like that to both sides, as well as going ahead and grabbing ourselves some barrier blocks. Here we're going to place down a barrier block that drops down from those end rods, and we're just going to place down some stone buttons around these 2 sides there of the barrier block like that for some rigging. After that, we want to go and then place down a skeleton skull on both sides of this first wall, so like that. And then we're going to then also place down a skeleton skull on top of this iron trapdoor as well. After we have that done, on the back here, coming off this wall, you can either place down a stone brick, a skeleton skull, or we can go ahead and use our debug stick and our levers here, and we can go ahead and rotate the lever to connect up to that andesite wall. Either one will work. However, on top of that, we're going to then place down a 1 and 2 end rods up, followed by an end rod coming off both sides of the second one there. And on the very top, we're just going to go ahead and place down an iron bar, like so. We also want to place down a end rod coming off both sides of this lever, or skeleton skull, whichever you choose, right there, like so. At this point here, we then want to go and take our barrier blocks. We're going to place down 2 barrier blocks down. And same thing over here, 1 and 2 down. We're going to place down stone buttons on the sides of these first 2 blocks, and then a stone button on the side here of this second one down. So like that. So you have it on the side, these 2 sides for the top one, and this one side there for the bottom one. After that though, we're going to then also place down a gray carpet, which will be on top of that fence gate right there, followed by a stone block on top of that. And we're going to then grab ourselves an item frame, and we're going to place down an item frame here on top of the stone block with an iron bar in it, like so. After that, we're going to then go back to this stone block here. We're going to place down another stone block on top of it for our funnel, and we're going to place down an iron bar in that. And we then want to go and grab an iron trap door. We're going to place down an iron trap door on top of these stone brick walls to both sides. Item frames coming off those to the side, and a snowball in those item frames like that for, again, the spotlights. After that, we want to go and then place down a lever, which will be coming off this stone block like so. And going up from that, we're going to go ahead and place down a row of 1, 2, 3, and 4 end rods going up like so. We then want to go ahead and go off the top end rod, 1, 2, 3, and 4 barrier blocks going forward, and then we're going to go ahead and then go off these end rods, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Same thing over here, 1, 2, 3, and 4 for barrier blocks. And then taking our stone buttons here, we're just going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4 along the side here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Same thing over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So just like that for our rigging up on top there. We then also want to go ahead and take our end rods. We're going to place down an end rod on both sides of this second one up, so just like that to both sides. And we then want to go and just do a straight line of barrier blocks connecting our end rods from this frontal mass to the secondary mass here. So just like this going back, and we're just going to place down our stone buttons along the side of those barrier blocks. Going all the way forward, and same thing over here. So you basically have something that looks like that there for the rigging so far. After that's done, go ahead and focus our attention a little bit to the cranes here. We're going to go ahead and then place down a placeholder block here, or just a random block right there. We're going to place down a lever coming off of it, and again, use our debug stick. We'll go ahead and change the face to the floor, and it'll be on top of that fence gate like so. And then in this spot right here, we're going to place down a barrier block, and coming off the barrier block, we're going to place down a stone button back, as well as 2 stone brick slabs, like so. After that, on the other side here, we just want to go and very simply place down 2 barrier blocks, one on top of the fence gate, and one on top of that skeleton skull. And we're going to go and place down 2 stone buttons there on the sides, and then a skeleton skull coming off this second barrier block, like that. After that's done, on the back here, we're going to go and place down a skeleton skull on top of this stair right here. Coming off the sides of it, we're going to go and place down a end rod, like so. We then want to go ahead and again use our debug stick here to go on the side here. We're going to place down a lever, and we're going to go and then change the facing of it so that it's rotated and facing toward the, or connected up to the skeleton skull like that. You can place down a skeleton skull coming off that, or come up with some other alternatives for the end rods here. But on top of this, we're just going to place down 2 end rods up, end rod to both sides of this second one, and then just grabbing ourselves some barrier blocks. We're going to place down 1 barrier block coming off the top one here. We're going to go and drop down, do a row of 2, and then drop down again and do 1 like that. And we're just going to place down stone buttons there on the sides of these barrier blocks, like so, going down. And with that all complete there, that is going to basically wrap up what we have there for KMS Köln Königsberg-Class light cruiser. Hope you guys do enjoy this build and are able to put it to good use. If you do use this build, actually, whoa, one quick thing I almost forgot here. I was saving this at the end for those of you that wanted to build the seaplane or were building it. Almost forgot to finish it. But basically on top of the stone brick slab, we're going to place down the dark oak wood slab, as well as a green carpet to both sides, and then a dark oak wood stair that's going to go behind it on top of this daylight detector. So right there. then a zombie head coming off that slab going forward, and we're going to just place down our green carpet that go across there to make that biplane. But that right there will now finish what we have there for the KMS Köln Königsberg-Class light cruiser. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this design and are able to put it to good use. If you do end up using this build, I do ask you guys give me proper credit for it. This be thing from a side of the build, link to my channel or this video if this does bring social media sites. As long as you guys give me proper credit for it, you're free to use it for projects you guys are working on. Overall, enjoy the build, have fun with it, and all that fun stuff. Again, a big special thanks to Patreon support Derek Frost Westbrook for making this tutorial possible. And as always, feel free to check out my Patreon page. Link is always in my video descriptions. With that though, thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Gary204, and I'll see you guys next time.